We're very excited to see you all today, and it's nice that I can see that there are new and veteran members here. So we really appreciate that you took the time today to learn more about what we offer. For those I haven't met before, I'm Linda Marie Barrett, the Executive Director of SIBA. And while I'm doing a bit of welcoming, can you put your bookstore name and location next to your name? Because that helps us and everyone else identify you. And please feel free to put questions into the chat and say hello to each other. We'll open things up for questions after we get through the presentation. But even while we're presenting, if anything comes up, just go ahead and ask the question in the chat, and one of the team will answer, or we'll save your question for the question and answer part at the end.
Yeah, this group is going to be in. Oh no.
Maybe we can, Warren, we're going to mute you for a second. So today we're going to tell you a bit more about SIBA and how you can take advantage of member benefits and perks. Our main mission is to give you the tools you need to survive and thrive. And we offer education, advocacy, networking, and continued support. And we do this year round in different ways. That's because we hope we can meet you where you are in your needs in ways that are accessible to you. Our membership is really growing right now, and the kinds of stores in our membership, from brick and mortar to pop-up to online only, has changed significantly, reflecting the reality of today's bookselling world. So before I go further, I wanted to introduce the SIBA team. So joining me are Nikki Leone, who is our Systems and Communications Administrator, Candace Huber, our Membership Relations and Social Media Coordinator, and SP Rankin, our Website Administrator. And we also have a Sales Coordinator, Andy, who's not with us yet. All of them do so much more than their official titles, as we're a very collaborative team. And one thing I wanted to mention before we get into benefits are a couple of ways you can engage with SIBA every week. The first one is e-blasts. And so one thing you can do that really makes a big impact is to open e-blasts. E-blasts are publisher-sponsored emails that come to your inbox from a SIBA address. Publishers send these through SIBA to get your attention. And they usually feature an image of the book's cover or a group of book covers and offer advanced reading copies, opportunities to order signed copies for your customers, registration links to events they're hosting for indie booksellers, and other promotions. And the e-blasts represent the key titles that publishers want Southern booksellers to be aware of. They're also a really important source of revenue for SIBA, and they fund our educational programming and scholarships throughout the year. So please open the e-blasts we email to you and check them out, because by doing that, you show publishers that investing in SIBA booksellers is valuable, and you'll be making important connections with these publishers and getting on their radar. And also, you'll get ARCs for you and your staff. So we think of e-blasts as a win for everyone involved. The other thing we recommend is to read our weekly newsletter, which comes out on Thursday afternoons at 4 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Central. And I always tell people that if there's one thing to do weekly to look at from SIBA, it's our weekly newsletter, because we list all of our upcoming programming, scholarship opportunities, and industry news that we think is really important for you to know about. On Monday mornings, you may already be receiving this condensed recap of the newsletter. So on Monday mornings, I do send out, it's called like a coffee on Monday morning recap. And sorry, I didn't get the name exactly right, but check that out too. But the Thursday newsletter is the most comprehensive thing to check out. I also wanted to mention a few things coming up soon. The first is our summer reading guide. This is an example of that. This is this year's, or actually 2024 summer reading guide. It's free to you, and it's one of our most popular benefits. It's really a perk. You get a box of 500 catalogs for free, and if you want more, it's just $55 a box. You can stamp it with your store stamp right here, And the summer reading guide comes out in April, so you'd have it to hand out to customers before Memorial Day. And they're really perfect to include in your store mailings, to hand out with special orders, to bring to offsites. And because they're free, we really want you to be able to take advantage of it. So when you see, I think it'll be next week, February 3rd, a call to begin signing up for it, we really recommend you do it. And if you have any hesitation about it or need more info, just let us know. Coming up in March is our March Madness series of in-person events around SIBA territory. We're hosting 9 events in 9 states, and we hope that at least one of them is close enough for you to drive to and return home the same day. The March Madness series is one of SIBA booksellers' favorite events of the year, and it's completely free to SIBA member bookstores. They take place from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. on one day, and they include lunch, education, and meeting authors with new books coming out. And we also have lots of ARCs to hand out at these. Because each host store offers education that showcases what they do best, consider attending more than one event and touring the additional stores nearby for inspiration. If you contact us and let us know that you're going to go to a certain store, we can let you know if there are any stores along the way to visit, where we're always happy to do that. So I'm going to turn things over to Nikki next to discuss more bookseller benefits with you.
Okay. Hi, I'm Nikki. I, like Linda Marie said, wear a bunch of different hats at SIBA, but for the purposes of this, primarily my job is to communicate, to inform SIBA members about what is going on and to set up the logistics of programs so that they can participate in them. So that means I write newsletters and notifications and alerts and whatnot. And I also build the sign-up forms and information pages and everything that gives you the information you need to know to be able to participate in SIBA's programs. And I am just going to quickly share my screen. Let's see. All right. Can you see that? Are you seeing our homepage here?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay. And Linda Marie, whenever I do this, I never see the chat, so you'll just have to interrupt me if somebody's on the chat. So here's our SIBA website. Linda Marie was talking about events, the March Madness events. We have a tab for that for you to check out. She was talking about the newsletters. We have a tab for news. Specifically, we have a tab for the SIBA's newsletter so that if you do miss last week's newsletter, you can find it here online on the website to catch up. And I did also want to mention that we've had some people recently saying that they're not receiving SIBA's newsletter. If you join SIBA, you're automatically subscribed, but you are also you have the option to unsubscribe. So if you think you've accidentally unsubscribed, here's how you'd find your listing. You would go to your profile, log in and go to your profile. And then you would find there's a link to manage your profile, which is kind of far down on the page. And when you manage your profile, information and settings is where you update everything about your account with SIBA. We ask you to look at this periodically and just make sure your email is correct, your contact information is correct. And this is also where you can manage your email preferences. And you can see that down there. And if you click on that, you'll see the various newsletters and things. You'll want to make sure that SIBA News is clicked. So if you're having trouble receiving the newsletter, check that first. And if you're still having trouble, get in touch with me and I will see what I can do to get you back on our list. All right. Linda Marie asked me to go through some of the SIBA benefits. that you can find information about on the website. I've already shown you the events tab. Most of what you'll want to look at is under the booksellers tab. This is where we put everything that's specific to books. She mentioned the catalog program. You'll see direct links to a lot of the main things that SIBA does right from this bookstore page. One thing that I did want to point out is we also have a brochure, so you can click on the brochure to download and print out and see more information about all of these programs. The holiday catalog program in particular is going to be important in the upcoming weeks. You'll see a lot of information about it in newsletters. And as she said, you're going to receive an invitation to sign up for it next week when orders open. The seasonal catalog program, every SIBA bookstore gets 2 free catalogs for them to use with their customers under their own auspices. The catalog program is done in cooperation with some other regional associations under the banner of RAMP, Regional Association Marketing and Promotion. We're in partnership with NABA up to the north of us and the Great Lakes Association and the California Association. And by combining our resources, we get lots more publisher support for these catalogs. They're really beautiful gift catalogs. The summer one, every bookstore gets 500 free summer catalogs to hand out to their customers. They're professionally designed. They have a lot of great books in them. They're probably the most important tool our members have for increasing reaching new customers. So it's a great program for building your customer base. The winter catalog can also be imprinted with your store information and inserted into newspapers, town newspapers, sent via saturation mail to areas you're allowed to you want to target to bring into your store. There's a lot of different ways you could use it. And I did want to mention that specifically because it's an important enough benefit that we're hosting a dedicated webinar on the catalog program in February. You can find information about that under the events tab and sign up for it. Candace will be hosting that webinar. She'll talk about the catalog program and the many ways you can use it for your store. We'll have the director of the catalog program that manages the production of it on as well, Suzanne Schroger. So if you have questions, do attend that catalogs webinar on February 19th, actually. So that's the catalog program. The other thing that SIBA does that's fairly unique among the regionals books industry is that we have a newsletter called the Southern Bookseller Review, which is sent out to your customers. It's what we call a reader targeted newsletter, and it is a newsletter that goes out weekly that's reviews of books by SIBA booksellers. It's designed to raise the visibility of SIBA bookstores and independent bookstores as trustworthy sources of things to read, no matter what kind of a reader you are and no matter what your reading tastes are. So there's a website in the newsletter. The newsletter goes out on Wednesdays. The website is, always up there. And as you can see, it has, we publish about 20 reviews a week. In the newsletter, we publish about between 7 and 10 of the reviews that go up on the website, go into the newsletter. We have a special section we do fiction, nonfiction, children's graphic novels. We have a dedicated section for books that are on the PEN America banned list as well. We have a banned book section. So, and you can see recent copy of last week's newsletter right here. About a dozen bookstores have their reviews published in each newsletter, and the newsletter reaches about, at this point, I think we're at 8,500, a circulation of 8,500 readers and growing. So it's very easy to submit to it. Most of our reviews from you as booksellers come from the books the reviews you post to the Edelweiss Plus website. But SIBA also has a place online on our own website as well. Let's scroll down here, where you can submit a review. Sorry about that. Well, I'll fix that. But there is a form there to submit a review. You do have to be a member of SIBA in order to have your reviews published. So it is a benefit of SIBA. And we have been finding that we're getting a lot of attention from authors and publishers about the reviews that are being posted. And all of the reviews at Southern Bookseller Review get a fair amount of social media support as well, which Candace will talk about later. So that's the Southern Bookseller Review. Oh, and one other thing is, if you, as a store, if your staff is submitting reviews regularly to the Southern Bookseller Review, say one a month or several a month, SIBA can collect those and give you something so that you can embed them on your website as kind of a, I guess you call it like an evergreen, always up-to-date staff pick section that will run on your website. eShaver has done that, and you can see on their website, here's their Southern Books review list. It shows the 5 most recent reviews that they've sent in, and they automatically appear when somebody from eShaver sends us another review. It will be added to the list, and the one at the bottom will knock off. And all the reviews on the website click back to your stores for purchase. So the site is designed to basically increase your store's website traffic, your store's impact and visibility with your own customers. So that's the Southern Bookseller Review. Tell me if I'm going too fast here. There was a lot to cover. The other major thing that is coming up, and we want you to be aware of, is what we call the New Voices, New Rooms annual conference. Our annual conference is held in partnership with our neighbors to the north, the NABA Booksellers Association. And it's actually a year-long programming partnership we have with NABA. So booksellers from both organizations can attend events. If you go to the annual conference, you'll be taken to information about our upcoming conference for 2025. We're very excited because this year it will be held in Atlanta. So SIBA will be SIBA territory, SIBA booksellers will be hosting the conference this year. But NABA also, the New Voices, New Rooms also has other regular events. 4 times a year, we have events where store owners get together to talk to each other and share information. And we also run what's called a virtual publicity speed dating event where bookstores can pitch themselves, bookstores looking to expand their events programs can pitch themselves to publicists and publishers in the hopes of getting them to put them on their calendars or on their radar to send authors to their programming. You may have seen earlier this month, we had one of the store owner events happened just a week and a half ago. It was the owner strategy session around the topic of safety. And that was a really popular session and had a lot of really good information about that. The owners shared a lot of really good strategies for dealing with various difficult and problematic situations, and there was a lot of resources available. You can find a recap of that on the website here. There was a whole long list of tips and tricks of what to do, you know, during natural disasters and in-store safety issues and online safety and offsite safety. And there's also a really, really good resource list of things to consult, one of which wasn't in our newsletter when we published the recap. The operations troubleshooting manual from Loyalty Bookstores, which I do recommend you all take a look at that. And we'll provide a link for that in tomorrow's newsletter as well. So that's New Voices, New Rooms. Am I getting any questions here, Linda Marie? I can't see a thing. Yes?
I don't
No?
see any. I don't see any questions yet. But thank you.
Okay.
This is great.
Okay.
Great for me too.
And the final thing that I wanted to talk about is a member benefit that bookstores sometimes don't realize is there. Let me get to it. We developed something called the Peer Bookseller Resource Library. This is an old idea under a new hat, and I think I already reopened it. Yes, here. What this is a resource library only available to SIBA member bookstores. You have to sign in, log in, and be an active member to access it. And it is resources and tools that bookstores have used in their store operations that they found useful and they've shared with SIBA to share with everybody else. So as you can see, there's things like Avid Bookshop shared their checklist they go through for when they're hosting in-store events to make sure they have everything under control. There's best practices for used books from Gottwald's bookstore. There's subscriber questionnaires if you're if you're thinking about starting a subscription program for your customers. It's a whole lot of information across all sorts of, I think at this point there's about 100 and some different tools and resources in this resource library across a lot of different topics. You can search and filter things, you know, so that you only see, like, say, documents and resources dealing with authors. You know, you'll come up with a list. And so this has been a fairly, we've been building this for a long time, and the information in there is all road tested by bookstores. There's also some information from the American Booksellers Association in there and the Book Industry Charitable Foundation in there, but it's all book industry related and road tested by bookstores. So I did want to make sure that, especially for new members, they might not realize that this is here. It's under the bookseller tab. You'll find a direct link to it right under, if you click on booksellers. It'll be one of the things right in the middle of the page there. Yeah, the bookseller resource library. So those are our main things that I was supposed to talk about. Did I miss anything, Linda Marie?
No, I think that was great. Thank you.
Okay.
So,
all right. Well, I'm going to stop sharing.
All right, we're going to turn it over next to Candace.
Hi, everybody. I am Candace. I am your membership and social media coordinator. So very likely you have heard from me at some point. I send new members out a bunch of information, and then generally I send what I like to call Principal Candace emails that says, like, Candace wants you to sign up for something. So you will see a lot from me as your membership coordinator. And so I wanted to talk about a couple of things. The first is some of SIBA's, what I like to call, member perks, because they are really, really great things you get with your membership. And Linda Marie and Nikki already pointed out some of these things, but there are a couple that I wanted to draw attention to as great perks. The first is that I want to double punch the peer resource library that Nikki just talked about. It is really awesome. I've gotten a lot of things from my bookstore there. And for those of you who don't know, I am also a member of SIBA. I own Tubby and Koo's traveling bookshop in New Orleans. And so I have used the Peer Bookseller Resource Library for things for my store. So I'm going to double punch that and say, go check that out. The other thing I'm going to double punch is the free catalog program. And you'll be hearing like a lot about this very soon, but our summer catalog is coming up. Linda Marie and Nikki both talked about it, but it is such a good opportunity. And one little tip that I'll say that I think is like one of the greatest things I've ever heard is that you can send the catalogs to your bookshop.org customers if you are on Bookshop, or to your online customers who, you know, may not come into the store. You can send the catalogs out to them with a little like note, and it will hopefully maybe get people to come into the store. So you can hear a lot more tips and tricks on that coming up. But those two I wanted to double punch. And then there are a couple more that I wanted to just call out to you. One is that we do sponsor the Professional Bookseller School. And so if you take any courses with them, SIBA does offer an upfront discount and also a rebate. So it's like double that you get. So you get a discount upfront when you sign up. And then if you go through the course and you get certified, you can send us that information and then get a rebate back as well. So that is a huge perk, I think, of membership. Another perk that I wanted to mention is our combined regional bookstore banner, or Banner for Dues program. Another really huge perk is that if you agree to put a banner on your website, so this is a publisher sponsored banner, we sell ads through SIBA for it. We try to do our best to actually like vet the books that go into it as well. But these banners will show up on your website. The publishers sell ads for it. If you put it up there, you get free dues as long as you are running the banner. So you can actually get a completely free SIBA membership. I don't think any other regional offers this. It is a huge perk. And if you want to learn more about it, you can shoot me an email and we can send you more information. You can also get your bookstore spotlighted in our newsletter and on social media, which is really great to raise visibility. Our bookstore spotlights do the best on social media of anything that we post. And we post it both on SIBA social media for industry and on the Southern Booksellers Review social media for consumers. So you get a lot of visibility through that. I'm looking for stores that want to be spotlighted. So again, shoot me an email. I put my email in the chat. So anything and everything you can email me about as your membership coordinator. And the last perk that I want to bring up is access to me, which I know sounds funny, but like you can literally email me anytime about anything. I'm happy to help. I own my own bookstore. I've been in this industry for 10 plus years and can help. I actually work for the Professional Booksellers School. Like there's a lot of things that I do. And so you can really email me anytime and I'm happy to brainstorm with you or partner with you on whatever, or help you however I can. So those are some of your member perks. I also wanted to bring up some of our upcoming webinar topics. So this is new to SIBA this year. We are doing a member benefit webinar series. So our first one is February 19th. It's all about those awesome free catalogs that you can get. So we will have Suzanne from Ramp, who is our partner that actually publishes the catalogs, will come and talk with me. We'll answer questions. So it will just be all about that program. And we'll also give you some ideas as to how you can use the catalogs. We'll do some brainstorming. It'll be a really good session. So come to that. We also have coming up in March, it will be all about the Southern Bookseller Review and all of the things that you can do with it as a bookstore. We also have a financial support webinar coming up, which are all the ways SIBA can support you financially, all of our scholarships and financial aid opportunities we'll talk about at that webinar. And then in May, we'll have one on emergency preparedness, because this is the South and that is right before hurricane season. And we feel like, you know, things are getting, unfortunately, worse and worse every year. So we're going to do a little session on emergency preparedness to hopefully prepare all of our stores for anything that comes your way. So let us know if there's a benefit or a topic that you would like to see us cover. Again, you can email me anything, anytime. I also want to talk a little bit about our Discord community, because social media is fairly chaotic at the moment, as we all know. And so as that happens, you know, I want to make sure everyone knows about our Discord community, because we do have this space for SIBA members that is sort of outside of social media. And it is a great community. We have, I think, fairly close to 100 people on there at the moment. And so you can network and talk to other booksellers. Y'all can brainstorm things. There's a bulletin board there and announcements. And so basically, anytime I see anything that I think you might want to know, I'll post it on the bulletin board in Discord. We can also always create new channels there. So for example, I've seen other regionals that have Discord chat channels for each state, if y'all want to like network by state or business model or whatever. So we just encourage y'all to get on there and talk to each other. It is a virtual community for SIBA, and we would really like to see it be active and have y'all talking to each other. So if you want an invitation to Discord, again, shoot me an email. Happy to get you on there and even give you a little tutorial if you need that one-on-one. And also, I am, as I said, SIBA's social media coordinator. So I would love it if you could follow SIBA's social media. We are at SIBA_books, and then the Southern Bookseller Review is at Southern Bookseller Review. And then New Voices, New Rooms also has a separate social media account. So that's at New Voices, New Rooms. We'll post them all in the chat. If you can follow them all on Instagram, that's the main space where we are. And, you know, again, we know that social media is chaotic. I try to keep a really close eye on what's happening with social media. And I would love to know where y'all are and what your thoughts are about social media going forward. So if you want to post in the chat, that would be great. Like, what social media platforms is your store currently using? Do you have any plans to move to new platforms? I would love to know that, because of course SIBA wants to be where our members are, and we want to make sure you're seeing information. So if you can let us know. There's also a little 1-question social media survey on our website that you can just go click. This is the one. So we're trying to gather that information and make sure that we are out on the places where you are as well. And also, our social media scavenger hunts is something that we do periodically. They are extremely successful. So what this is that stores sort of get together, and I do some logistics, and everyone sort of tags someone else, and then consumers can go and they essentially get a tour of bookstores on social media. They have to like and they have to follow you. They have to like the post. They comment on the post. And they do that for every single bookstore in the tour, in the scavenger hunt. And then if they do that, at the end, they get entered to win a $100 gift card to the participating store of their choice. SIBA buys that gift card from your store. So by participating in the scavenger hunt, you get a lot of visibility for your store. The stores that have participated have given us really good feedback. They all get like a lot of new followers from this. They get a lot of engagement on the post. And, you know, one of the stores gets $100 from SIBA. So if you're interested in participating in those in the future, we generally do one a quarter. We're doing one to announce the winners of the Southern Bookseller Review. That one is already full, which is great. And so if you want to participate in those in the future, again, shoot me an email. And then we want you on social media to tag SIBA in fun stuff that your store is doing. And I will share it in stories if I see it. And if you give us permission to like reshare posts of things that are going on with your store, we'll do that as well. And the other thing that I ask as far as engaging with SIBA is when you see a SIBA post, to like it, comment on it, engage with it. That really, really helps with our visibility on social media as well. And of course, we always love to see your comments, especially on our like, what are you reading posts? And you can tell us what you're reading. I want to see that. And finally, I would just like to, again, ask everyone to log into your SIBAweb.com account and update your store's information. As membership coordinator, I use that information a lot. So I would love that to be updated and to make sure that when I'm contacting you, it's at the right place. I tend to ask this at the beginning of every year because we want up-to-date information. We want to make sure you're getting communications from SIBA. and the kind of communications that you want. And of course, if you need help with that, again, email me. I can help you log in. Also, if you have staff at your store that you want, or that who wants to receive SIBA's newsletter or communications from SIBA, you can send me an email with a list of your staff's name and email addresses, and I can add them to the system so that they get our newsletter and communications. I can do that for you on our end. So yes, please make sure that your information is updated so that I can send my principal Candace emails and that you get them from me when that happens. And I think that is everything from me. And of course, Candace at SIBAweb.com, like anytime you can just say, hey, just wanted to say, hey, would love to hear from you.
Thank you, Candace. We've really come to the end of a lot of our presentation, and I know that there are new and veteran members here attending. I wondered if any of you wanted to come off, unmute yourself and introduce yourself or ask any questions, because that was a lot of information, and we'd also love to just see you and have a moment to hear from you. And I don't want to call on anyone, but I could. Okay, well, so we have recorded this presentation. So I know, as I said, it was a lot of information, so we'll be sharing that as soon as it's ready. And you can contact any of us on the SIBA staff, and if it turns out what you're asking is not really our area, we'll pass it on to the right person and they'll get back to you. We're also always happy if you contact us to give you more information or a personal tour of the site again, or go over, like Nikki showed, updating your profile on SIBAweb.com. Sometimes that's hard to do your first time, so we'd be happy to go through that with you as well. So I guess the main thing is please stay in contact with us and tell us how we can help you, and check out our newsletter on Thursdays, because we have so much wonderful things planned for 2025, and we really want you to be part of it with us. So thank you all, and thank you, SIBA team, for all you presented.